My name's Jamie Whitley. Been coming to Ignite Church since August of 2018. My brother-in-law invited me, told me, come on out, check it out. I think you'll really like it. We came in and sat down, and it kind of, at first with the dark, I was not used to it. And when Jason started preaching and started delivering the word, I knew right then, hey, this guy's got something going on. I want to hear more of him. And I came back. We decided, hey, we want to go back again. Second time I looked at my wife. She was just, tears were rolling. And right then I knew, I was like, this is it. This is home. This is where I want to be. We made the conscious decision right then that Ignite was going to be our home. I've always been a pretty healthy guy. Played sports up until I got into my mid-20s. Monday I was at work, and all of a sudden I got rather lightheaded, and I just assumed it was from not eating and just working. And I told my buddy, hey, I think I'm getting ready to pass out. Well, I walked out, took my coat off, kind of cooled off some, and everything kind of leveled out. So I went home, ended up going to bed early that night, felt kind of bad. Took my blood pressure, it was a little high. I woke up Tuesday morning about 6 o'clock. Never felt that before. Wake up and you feel anxious, like someone just walked up and scared the mess out of you, and heart's just kind of beating really fast. It's hard to catch your breath. So I called emergency room, and well, can you check your blood pressure? I said, sure. So I started checking my blood pressure. I had readings within a 20-minute time period as high as 185 over 140 and as low as 118 over 55. So my father-in-law picks me up, and we get to the emergency room. To make a long story short, within 15 minutes I was in a room. They thought there was a possible blockage in my heart, and I was in there 24 hours. Actually, Brother Will Barnes, who is a security guy with me, him and his wife came to visit me. And it was close to dinner. And they were leaving, and my daughter and grandchild came in, and they visited for a little bit. And my wife walked them out about the time my food came in. So I sit up on the side of the bed, and I start eating my chicken salad. And on the third swallow, it got right here in my chest, and it stopped. And then all of a sudden I just got so hot. So I went to pull my socks off, thinking, hey, it'll help cool me down. And then I hit the button, and I told the nurse, I said, something really wrong is going on. I said, I don't know what's happening. I need help. By the time they got in, I fell back on the bed, and actually was starting to slide off. Both of my arms, from my shoulders all the way down, completely went numb at one time. I was sweating so profusely that they could not attach leads, and the leads that were already attached were starting to peel off. They were wiping me dry, and as soon as the towel would come off, I was wet again. They're running around. I need 3 cc's of this. We need Dr. Price in here immediately. He's coding. I think he's having a stroke. The whole time, their voices were getting further and further away. She was standing right at my side with her hands on me, and it sounded like she was in another room. And then the room kind of just started getting dark around the edges. And my biggest fear right at that point in time was, how is my family going to handle this? In my heart and soul, I knew I was getting ready to go. I knew that I was getting ready to leave this world. And I asked the nurse to go get my wife, and she said, no, I can't leave you. And I said, well, tell her I love her. But I had a peace about me that I wasn't worried about where I was going. They finally got me stabilized, and I cooled off, and within 30 minutes of that, they had me transferred to the CCU unit of the new cancer center. When we walked in, it wasn't 10 minutes after that, the doctor was in. And he said, Mr. Whitley, he said, we've got some tests that we really would need to run on you. I can't say anything for certain right now. He said, but by everything that has happened and all the symptoms, he said, I think you've had a stroke, but we won't know until we run these tests. And I was having a CAT scan close to midnight that night, and they ran me CAT scan, an MRI, echocardiogram, EEG, EKG, everything. I mean, within 12 hours of this episode happening, they were running that. And the last thing they done was the actual stress test. My blood pressure was high, but the doctor or the guy that was running it said, well, we're going to try it, but we're going to keep a close eye. And if your blood pressure gets too high, we're going to have to stop. So they put me on the treadmill, and I start, and my top got up around 200 and the bottom was up around 160. And he said, if it goes any higher, we're going to have to stop. And it started going down. I don't know, I haven't ran in 20 years, and I was able to complete the stress test. And Friday, the doctor comes in the morning and he says, well, Mr. Whitley, he said, I've got good news and I've got bad news. He said, the good news is we can't find any evidence anywhere to support the theory of you having a stroke. There's nothing there. Everything's coming back negative and coming back good. But also, that's the bad news. We don't know what happened. We can't explain it. He said, I'm keeping you for 24 more hours and we're going to run a 24-hour test on you, but we can't explain it. And I looked at him, I said, my opinion and my firm belief is it's a miracle. They let me come home Saturday. I got up and I walked out. They didn't let me out of the bed from Tuesday until Saturday. And they come in Saturday and they said, well, you're good to go. And the first place I was ready to be was right here in Ignite with my brothers and sisters, man. I ran from the church. I never turned my back on Christ, but I did run from the church for 30 years. I fell short as a father. I didn't deny my children a relationship with Christ, but I wasn't the one that introduced them and helped them develop a relationship with Christ. And I have been praying. My son has been going through a lot. He's living on his own. He's trying to support himself. He's been feeling like he's all alone. My daughter has been suffering seizures over the last year. They diagnosed her with epilepsy at 25 years old. And they weren't in church. They know God and they love God, but they weren't in church. I'd been praying over the last 2 months because it's gotten a little rocky between them two. And I've been praying, God, please touch them. Just touch them, guide them. Just give them a reason. You can do this. I'm trying, but I need your help. I need your help so bad. And like I said, this Tuesday, when I went in the hospital, with all this stuff going on, we've seen a huge change in my son. He is smiling again. He is happy again. My daughter actually showed up Sunday and surprised me. So I really believe that this was God's intention. Was you're asking me to help. You're asking me to intervene and show them and reach them And I honestly believe that this was his way of reaching my children, because I have seen a change. My daughter, she showed up at church unannounced. I didn't have to ask her. So for anybody that don't believe in miracles, all you got to do is look. They're everywhere. They happen around us every day. We just don't take time to look and see the miracles that are going on right in front of us. I'm a fortunate, very blessed man. God has protected me for a long time. But this episode is just, there's no other explanation other than it was a miracle. He said, not today.